this video, we're going to review how to do a pier elevation sheet and try to replicate the plan sheet. So for that, we're going to show you two methods. It's through the analysis and reporting tool first. And we need to set up the configuration or the settings on how we're going to do that. They should be already preset. Just double check, and we're just going to generate an elevation view. We can generate top, right, bottom, all at the same time, but in this method, we're going to use just the elevation view. So select the tool, create drawings, select the pier, anywhere on the pier, accept it. The drawing sheet should be already selected. Just give a name to the model, adjust the scales in which you want to generate the drawing and the sheet as well. That will all depend on your structure. And hit OK. Software will automatically extract the 3D view and place it into a drawing model and into a sheet model. You will recognize it because the drawing model has a gray background and the sheet model has a white background with the proper border frame. It's a reference file as well, and you can adjust the presentation of the reference file by selecting how you want to clip it and what display rule. These forward and cut are display rules that you can set, or they are preset as well, and just dictate how you're going to view that particular extraction of the reference file. We have already set some of them. You can see I'm deactivating all the forward and cut views. But here you can also select, or you can also preset that display rules on how you want to display the extraction of the 3D elements that you're doing. And it's not an extraction per se, I would say it's a reference file of the 3D model that you just created with OpenBridge. So that will dictate my drawing itself. And that is the part. Now, to create the cap, right, where are you going to use tools that already exist into the MicroStation part? That is the section callout tool. So we select again what drawing sheet we're going to use. It's the same, but then we're going to, from the drawing, we're going to cut a view of that cap. As you can see, the orientation, basically what I'm going to be getting is not a section per se, but a plan view of that cap. Right? Provide a name. The scale for the cut that I'm going to do, and also generate a sheet if you want to. Or maybe not, because we are only interested in composing the drawings, and we're going to compose the sheet later. So this is the structure. As you can see, it's a plan view, but extracting everything on the 3D model. You can see the beams, the framing plan, and all of that. So it will be a matter of turning off levels, as you can see. Right-click on the element and turn it off. One more time. Right-click, turn off by element. So I'm just turning off the levels that I don't want to see into my cap. So no beams, just the cap itself. That's the barriers. I can select the tool and just turn it off. So that's the cap. Now, with that as well, now I can decide how I want to display it. So for that, I can go to my reference files, and on presentation, adjust how I want to see the cut that I just did, right? All are solid lines, dashed lines, and that should be enough. As you can see, and then dashed lines and seeing the piles that are below. You can say don't display it. You can adjust the depth of the cut, so not just to see the columns itself. Right? So then, on my sheet, right? So what I can do then is look for the model that I created. Remember, it was blank up, and just select it and drag it into the sheet. So it's like attaching a reference file, but a little bit more automatic. Right? And then on that, I can again customize the display with level symbology, turning off levels, and so on and so forth. Right? On my sheet as well, on that reference, right? I can just apply the rule that I use, the display rule that I use. Do the drawing itself, and just adjust the levels too. Blank up, reference file, and then just display of the levels that I want to see. And so as simple as it could be. So I just show you two methodologies, element by element, or just with the level display on reference files to see what elements I want to see. Maybe that should be enough there. And then I can move the reference to the position on the sheet that I want to place it, and just do a click boundary on the reference files. Okay, so I just build that first view, if you want to call it like that, for the camera. And these other elements, I can just also move it as part of the reference, and we create it automatically, and just place it into the sheet as well on the section that I need. Now coming back to my drawing itself, now I need to do another sections to see the footings or the sides of the column. So using the same technique as the blank up, I will go to the drawing workflow at the top and select one more time the section callout tree. That's on my sheet there. So I don't need that. I will just do it better, just composing one by one. As you can see, we can do it automatic, or we can just the elements that I have. For example, that pier elevation that I already have. I don't want the software to do it automatic as I did at the beginning of the video. I just want to drag it out myself. So, done. Um, going back to the pier. I can select the section callout tool again and say now I want to see. For that I may need to activate AccuDraw to do a normal cut, and then I want to see the footing option. Adjust the scale. I don't want to create a sheet. Just call that new drawing model that I'm going to generate. Okay, it's the footing view. And then one more time, I may need to adjust the display rules or how much I want to see of that footing. Right? I click on presentation and I adjust the display rule on how I'm going to attach it. So push it through and that should be okay. And now going back to my sheet, I want to bring that footing view to the drawing. Before that, I may clip that reference file of the pier elevation. So do a clip boundary just to reduce the area of display. Good. So now on my model, the footing view that I generated, I just drag it to the screen and position it where it needed to be. Right. So now since this is a reference file, I just can move that reference around to make room on my sheet itself. Right here too, move reference, that element, select the reference file. And I'm still on the previous one, so select the footing view and then just move it to the proper location that fits on my sheet. Maybe need to do a clip boundary too to restrict the viewing area. For that, align it maybe to the bottom of the pier and just do another clip boundary just on that footing area. Right, so that, smooth it one more time to properly align it to the footing itself. Right, there are commands, extra commands that you can use like AccuDraw and alignment with AccuDraw. And then also now I want a side view. So I use again a section callout tool for the column itself. Right, kind of simple. I think you got the idea by this time. So again, set up the scale. Could be same, could be different. It's up to you. I don't need to create a sheet on that because I'm going to, one more time, drag that drawing into the sheet that I just created. And it just creates that. Right? I'll put it on a sheet, so it doesn't need to be. So I just go to my column, view there, and that's only that. And then I will just go to adjust the presentation of that with display rule. Maybe it needs to be a solid cut. Right? So push the display of the view. Now what I need to do is to drag that drawing model into my sheet. Right, so let's put it on the side. Remember, I cut this extra. I don't need that, so I will just go back to my pier elevation. And now, one more time, drag that column view, that section that I cut, into the sheet. Extra lines that come, I may delete it. There was a lot of cleanup into the file itself. Now, these are on reference files, so you want to delete it too. So let's go to the column and drag it. And that will be the cross section there. One more time, we need to adjust the display of the reference, do a clip boundary. So now remember that all of these are views of the 3D model. So if the 3D model changes, all this reference, of course, will be updated automatically, and your sheet will be updated automatically. So your display representation will stay, but the new element will show up, right? Because again, one more time, as you can see, we're just dealing with reference files, and we are just displaying that reference in different ways and also in different cuts or views, right? So just adjusting to that. Just depends on how display rule you want to use to just actually display your elements. So back to my sheet, see? So now maybe a clip boundary to reduce the display of that sheet. Right? Move it around. So you select where you want to accommodate your sheet. Then coming back to my pier elevation, the last step is to create a side view. So using, one more time, the section callout tool. The section callout tool can also be found on Annotate, and the Annotate tab under section callouts, or the shortcut that I have at the top. And then now I'm creating a section view perpendicular to the side of the pier. So then, as you can see, I will be able to generate, and I'm using AccuDraw to just have a full 90% cut there. Right, and then now I warranty that it's a 90-degree view of the side of the pier in that case. Selected the depth, how I want to see. Time, I don't need to create a sheet, I just need to create a drawing model, give it a name. So as you can see, we're using the exact same tool, cutting different ways, cutting different views to compose the pier elevation sheet. So it's like using the tools 2, 3, 4 times to generate that element, especially controlling the depth of what you want, the display that you want. Right? For example, here when you're cutting, you're showing the cap on the part of the beam as well. So as I said, you can turn off the levels by element, so you just only see the actual pier with the beam seat. So, and then control the display rules or how you want to see that in your reference file. And the display rules are preset. You can configure your own display rules for your project too. We included some in the standards. So like for example here, all the solid elements is going to show like that. So now when you go back into the model, into your sheet model, right? So then it will be a matter now to reference one more time that column view or side view. Again, it's up to you the name. There is no specific naming convention. So side view, drag it, place it, move the reference, click the reference. I think you got the idea, right? So now it will be a matter one more time to adjust the level symbology, to adjust the display rule, click boundary, move the reference to see where you really want to locate that sheet. Then, after that, what is left is just the text annotations that you want to put in your sheets, certain labeling, and all these different views coming from the 3D model. If the model changes one more time, it will be updated all automatic for you. Then with that, you will just compose your sheet. And all of them are reference files of different views of the same model. Right? Apply some click boundaries to clean up the sheet a little bit better, tighten these up. And the same could happen with the footing views, the caps. So now it's just more aesthetics than anything else. Right? The same with that footing. Let's just carry that displays there to just exactly what I need on the reference file. Now this is just kind of a standard microstation operation to do that. One more time by reference. Apply a click boundary into the column view and the top view and side view. That should be done. The markers, as you can see, these little bubbles, you can control it with the view attributes, display markers off. Could be controlled that, but all the drawings are generated and all of these drawings are composed, and that's the process. That's what it's called, drawing composition, just to deliver that. Right? This is how you clean up the markers and all the links. So now your sheet is all clean up and ready to present after all the labeling is done. Right? These moving up, so I'm selecting the display callouts, right? Or just move it around, it doesn't hurt. Now you can apply your own labeling convention. Thank you.